What is up, my people? You were on with your boy BT, TB, my boy Fishing. I'm gonna wait till Fishing's ready to add him on here. I think he's in the bathroom right now, and the last thing I want to do is add my boy Fishing if he you know what I'm saying, fishing around, you doing what he doing. So we'll give him some time to, kind of, you know what I'm saying, give him some time real quick. But wait from that, guys. We're gonna have a fun night tonight. This is Tiger Baskins brought to you by Tiger Sauce. Okay. What's up, Neo? Yes, we are now sponsored by Tiger Sauce, habanero lime. Excuse me.
How hot is that stuff?
Uh, on a scale to 10, maybe a 4 or 5. Not, it's more taste.
Yeah. I bet that
Like,
lime's good in there. I bet that lime's
yeah,
good.
bro. If you had this on some wings,
Oh boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it would be hot enough to say it's hot, but not hot to where you like, bro. I miss my ex from,
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing all that.
I
But
like it.
what's up, Ballard Sports Media? So, anyways, so this is what we're gonna do, guys. Real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and post the link because I do want you guys to call in. I want you to either talk trash or you can brag on your team, whatever you want to do. We got a few things we'll talk about, and in between, we can bring people on. Appreciate that. Yes, Mr. Fools is right. He says hit that like button. At one point, we are going to bring on Mr. Piggy Pigskin Man Pete, Tiger Baskins Juice. What's up, D4? And we'll talk about Clemson. If D4, which we can make that a separate video. Yeah, D4, save that. We talked to you about the other day. We're going to save that. But if you do want to come on, you definitely can. But first thing that we want to talk about today, Tiger Baskins Internet.
Damn.
So I guess the first thing, and we'll just go ahead and start it off. It's up to you. We can either start with the
right. That's your internet too.
We can start off with the hot seat, the coaches in the hot seat, or we can talk about key matchups for the first week. What you got?
I like
Which
the
one
matchups
which one you want to choose? You tell
I like
me.
the matchup one. And like TV said, anybody come join. We'll talk about game. I mean, you can join and we'll talk about anything. But there's a lot of good matchups this year. There's a ton of them. It's going to be a really good year of football. There's a lot of really, really good matchups.
Yes. What's up, Hoghead? Come on, bro. She said, I don't claim that internet. All right. I'm going to go key matchups, and not because I think it's an amazing game. First one I'm going is, I know you can't tell, but I'm a Georgia fan. Going Georgia, Oregon. Georgia is playing their former defensive coordinator and Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning has Bo Nix, who left Auburn, the Auburn team that what you had said was pretty good last year. Now
Sneaky,
they have that
yes.
man on Oregon's team, which Oregon didn't have a bad team.
They beat Ohio State last year.
But they did not stay consistent throughout the season.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And for me, coach like Dan Lanning going to help that out. So, anyways, I think this will be a game for me to be able to say, no, I don't think Oregon's winning at all. But it would be nice to be able to see some defense from Oregon. It'd be nice to be able to see something out of them. Who do you got? Who would you say is a crazy matchup for the week one?
Well, in that game, of course, I'm gonna pick Georgia, but
yeah,
I like what Oregon's doing, but I don't know. I think they're still going to struggle a little bit. The new head coaching thing, like we talked about, like the hot seat and the new head coaches, which we'll probably talk about later. But Dan Lanning's an interesting one. Do you know where he was at before he was at Georgia for that 1 year? Because it was just 1 year at Georgia, right? I don't either.
No. He was there.
I don't either. So
I think he was at Georgia for 4 or 5.
Oh, was he? I had to see. Obviously, I didn't even know that. But so yeah, we'll see how he does. That'll be how he does. That'll be interesting to watch.
I'll begin the trash talk before we move to this game.
Yeah, you got to, don't you? You got to.
The reigning national champions are coming back. I've heard so much talk from Bama fans who get to me all day, every day. Hey, last year was a rebuilding year. Last year, look, you don't have anything to prove to me. You got more national championships than Jeff Webster got teeth. Okay, like, bro, You good. Okay. That's you take your national. You don't have anything to prove to me. But yet, we had players hurt. We have this. You lost the 2 wide receivers that you turned around and told everybody that's why you lost the national championship. Well, you just lost them, right? Okay. You've lost a lot, but you have all the guys you want back. You're rebuilding, and that's good and all. You got Jahmyr Gibbs that weighs 165 pounds at running back. Very, very good. I'm so happy. But you mess around and let Texas beat you, and I swear to goodness, bro, I will change all of these things behind me into Texas. I will. I will put Texas all around me if they beat you, just because of all the talk. But I'm gonna say Georgia goes undefeated in the regular season just to make everybody mad. I don't know, X-Wing. Bama, they got the Heisman quarterback, but that defense, would you not agree Alabama has a really star-studded defense, a lot of stars on it, right?
Alabama's absolutely loaded this year. This is going to be one of the best Alabama teams and Alabama defenses that we've seen in a long time, I think.
But they were loaded last year too, though, right?
They were, but they didn't lose. They just didn't lose too much. And they've got experience now.
But all of those 4- and 5-star guys, they have on defense, lost a guy that has no stars. Stetson Bennett had 0 stars.
I hate that argument, though. I hate that argument because the whole team around Stetson Bennett is absolutely loaded. So I just don't like the argument. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah.
More than Stetson Bennett.
Say again?
So yeah. Golden Blue Dude bench presses more than Stetson Bennett.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Probably true.
Literally. So
probably true.
Yeah. And it's like Bryce Young, Heisman, all this and that, but if a Heisman don't win you a national championship, I don't want one.
Yeah. I got you.
Just saying. I apologize. Anyways, we'll bring on Pete and Alan A. They're in the back.
Okay.
Name Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Stetson Bennett on Missouri would suck. X-Wing, that is my point completely, sir. That is my point. Georgia beat Alabama with their hands behind their back and their feet tied together because they played a quarterback that would suck if he was on Missouri. That is my point exactly. You give us a good quarterback that was in the top 25 of last year, man.
You got a good quarterback. You got one. You got one. That's why I don't like that argument, because y'all have plenty of good quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the fact is we beat them with our hands.
I know. I know.
So I'm just saying, who put Bo Nix there? You could have gave us DJ Ugamama, man, bro.
Ugamama.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, between that Heisman, give me that Natty with a walk-on Trench. Yes.
Absolutely.
Since we're talking about matchups, let me get y'all's opinion on this one. Obviously, because I'm a Florida fan, but Florida and Utah.
I agree with Mr. Pete. You starting a DoorDash driver, but that's the crazy thing is it's almost like Kirby did that on purpose. He started the DoorDash driver at quarterback so he could say that forever, that he beat Bama with a DoorDash driver. That Bama can have the Heismans, they can have the Tua, they can have the Jalen Hurts, the Mac Jones, the Bryce Young, they can have all them guys. Anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say Florida and Utah. I want y'all's opinions. And everybody is. I know everybody's gonna pick Utah first off, but I am interested to see people say why. I want to know why, and another reason other than Utah's a good team. I want to know why.
AR-15 sucks.
That's completely not true. Statistically, he sucks. Yes.
Macklin does make a good point. Macklin says Stetson Bennett. Yes, X-Wing. Y'all won a natty with Jake Coker, but did Jake Coker beat a team that had a Heisman at quarterback?
Who'd they beat with Jake Coker? Who was that? that Ohio
I
State?
don't know. No,
I think it was
somebody.
Ohio State.
But listen. So Macklin says Stetson Bennett is projected to the ACC according to GBD.
Credible source.
That's a credit. Yeah, I agree. Hoghead says he thinks UF has a shot. I'm not going to say anything because I know nothing about Florida nor Utah. Billy Napier is a first-year head coach going against a team that has a lot of returning chemistry and a lot of, what do you say, motivation, all of that. So I don't know, bro.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Utah is a really good team. They're like a power run team, and they play pretty decent defenses. But I don't know, when you compare it to the Pac-12, you got to factor that in. So these are my arguments. You compare those things to the Pac-12. They got to come to Gainesville, and it's going to be hot. And these things do matter. Maybe not to determine the win or the loss, but these things do matter. So if by the fourth quarter the humidity is so bad that Utah is just out of breath and all their star players are tired, I mean, and then Florida could, I think that could be a scenario that would possible in that game. I don't know, and also Florida's more talented. And also,
is
Florida's
Billy Napier though, being a first-year head coach, is he going to be trying to get his team together, and by then they're down 21 points? Well, so that's all I'm saying.
That's another point I agree with.
It goes either way.
Yeah, that's another point I agree with because it's first game and first year for the head coach. So I agree with that point too.
Georgia beat Bama on defense. Well, you said you were the one that you had said that. I'm saying Stetson Bennett beat a star-studded Alabama defense. Bryce Young did not beat a star-studded Georgia defense. So that's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I mean, you know what I mean? Stetson over Bryce. Bryce Young, great. Stetson Bennett, amazing.
Well, we see the trash talks coming in. It's already coming.
Just saying, Stetson limited. Stetson Bennett literally has a handicap sign on his car, on the little window. But yet he beat, one of the top defenses, star-studded, and it's like, it's tough, bro.
He's got a hit. Oh my God.
For the record, Team Raj cheated.
What's your Pete? Can you hear us? Can we hear you, buddy?
Yeah. What's up, bros?
What's up, man?
Hey, we can hear him.
Bro.
Good. Well, before we talk Clemson, I do want to hear your opinion on the Utah-Florida game.
Well, I'm not as high on Utah as everybody else is. I tend to agree with Fish and Football that they're being a little bit overhyped being in the Pac-12. But if this game were later in the year, I might give Florida a better chance. But being that it's early in the year, I still think that Napier needs a little bit of time to make that a cohesive unit. So I'm picking Utah, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vegas has this at Utah -1, so it's pretty much, it's basically a pick 'em.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also noted that Utah played exponentially better when Cam Rising got in there. So Cam Rising was the quarterback that took over like a little bit earlier in the season last year, but they took most of their L's last year when he wasn't playing quarterback. So the whole team played better. So with him coming back, in my opinion, I think that's what's going to make them a lot better. And like I said, their power run.
Have they announced the game time for that game yet?
You know what? I think it's at night.
That definitely favors Utah. If it was a 12 o'clock or maybe even a 3 o'clock game, I mean, traveling from Utah to the East Coast.
Yeah, that's true.
The time difference would be
but also, well, I can't even say that because the schedule or the stadium's going to be sold out regardless. So the crowd volume is going to be the same at any time the game's played. So
yeah.
Okay,
Alan.
Well, that's all I had to hear. That's all I wanted to hear. Alan, you got anything to say?
Team Raj cheated.
Okay.
Very, very insightful.
Yes.
Look, Alan, I'm gonna let you go because we got a few people lined up in the back. I'm gonna bring them on and let them talk. I'm gonna keep Pete on because I had asked him earlier to come on, and we're gonna get to some Clemson talk real quick. But later in the show if you want to come back. I want you to come back. All right.
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 All right. See you later, floating head. Nice talking to you, bro.
Bye, Alan. All right, we're gonna have to get that solved. But Trenches, we'll bring you on in just a second. We'll bring on Edward real quick, let him talk for a little bit.
Yes.
But when it comes to the Clemson season, this is my thing. I don't see a lot of losses in Clemson's future. I know other people are kind of high on Clemson not being as good as they are. And I guess, hey, you lost your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator. But from your opinion, from a Clemson man, how is it? Like, what do you feel after losing OC and the DC? Do you feel it looks like Dabo's more motivated this year than he has been? What do you feel? What do you think?
Well, talent-wise, they're as good as or better than they were last year. Definitely on the defensive side of the ball. Now, as far as the coordinators go, they're saying all the right things, and so I still have to just wait and see. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the way that Tony Elliott ran the offense to begin with. So Brandon Streeter's saying they're going to get, they're going to get more back to the basics and not do all that, flashy bullshit, and just get back to to regular football. So I hope that's the case, and I hope that they utilize the tight ends more, and that kind of thing. I mean, the tight ends have been on a milk carton since Jordan Leggett left after the 2016 national championship. But again, roster wise, I have no reason to believe that they won't be as good or better than they were last year. And their schedule sets up really nice for them. The beginning of the season, I mean, they got 4 straight cupcakes in a row. So, and they've got 4 games to get it figured out before they really have to play anybody that's a real threat. No disrespect to Georgia Tech, I'm putting them in the cupcake category.
Yeah.
But they don't really have any threats till game 4. So they get to work out some kinks. They get to work out who their starting quarterback's going to be for the rest of the year, which is really important. So the good thing is most of their tough games come later in the season, and I think they'll be a better team, by the time they play those teams than they are early on.
I will say this, with losing those coaches, you and Pete's already said this, but he's paid more attention to the recruiting because you lose the coordinators that have been there that long. They're definitely not falling off on the recruiting. That's one thing. So really, the only thing that that's in question right now is just how they coach the defense, how they develop and play on the field. So, and odds are it's probably going to be pretty good. So that is something positive to look forward to, especially when you're talking about like replacing an OC and a DC is just not an easy thing for any program in America to do, especially, so, but I think it'll still be fine.
The only thing I will say is that both of these were promotions from within, Streeter to offensive coordinator and Goodwin to defensive coordinator. So it's not like they're coming in there not knowing the program, not knowing the players, not knowing the schemes. They know what was there before, and I think they'll probably put their own little twist on it, but they're not starting over from scratch.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think, and we had discussed this about the Clemson deal, and then Edward, I'll let you talk, but I hope Dabo does those 4 games what he did with Trevor and Kelly Bryant. I hope. I mean, if you have the balls to be able to take a quarterback that took you to a national championship and tell him that you and the newcomer get 4 games to prove to me you're splitting 4 games, I think this would be the kind of season where you could do that. Just because the schedule. Just because. I mean, you got 4 cupcake games. This would be the time to let them, knowing you're going to win those games, but letting him which to me, though, I don't know who Clemson's number 2 is. Because everybody's saying it's Cade Klubnik, but I want to say they just got in a new recruit, a good quarterback. So,
yeah, Christian Vizina.
What do you think, Pete?
I think that's his name.
Yeah, well, Vizino hasn't. I mean, he's a 2023 guy. He's not.
Yeah, he'll be here next year.
But
oh, okay. Well, I wish y'all got somebody this year.
Well, Klubnik is definitely going to be the number 2 guy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hunter Johnson transferred back.
Gotcha.
As a graduate. He was a Clemson guy, former 5-star, transferred to Northwestern, played there a couple of years. Now he's transferring back as a grad. but I don't really think, honestly, I think he's going to be more of an on-field coach, mentor type role than an actual quarterback. I mean, if things get really, if Hunter Johnson's in there, then things have gone horribly wrong. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, he's kind of like a security blanket.
Yeah, he's kind of like a security blanket. Exactly. Yeah. And he didn't even want to come back to playing football. He contacted Dabo Swinney in the offseason and said, hey, I would love to come be a grad assistant. And Dabo said, hey, we need quarterbacks. How about come back for one more year? So that's the role he's playing. But I do agree with Tiger Baskins. I think they will use those first 4 games to evaluate the quarterback situation and then make a determination after that. But from what I've been listening to Dabo say over the past couple of months, he's really got kind of going all in on DJ. You know, he didn't really do that he didn't really talk about Kelly Bryant the same way that he talks about DJ. So I think that DJ might have a little bit of a longer leash than Kelly Bryant had when Trevor Lawrence came in. But at the end of the day, I don't have any reason to believe that he won't make the right decision when it comes time to do it. Because we've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Edward, let you talk.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Fisher. You had to say.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, with DJ, when I heard that he threw 9 touchdowns and 10 interceptions for the whole season, I mean, my mind was completely blown for the whole season. So, I mean, I don't know. I've been known to say that DJ's going to be fine. He's going to be good this year, but I don't know. But like Pete was saying, he's got a little bit of a longer leash and he's kind of hyping him up a little bit. I think he needs that because of his confidence. And I think Dabo knows that because of just how he played last year. So I think that's why Dabo's doing that.
Agreed.
Yeah. And we're not there to see what he looks like in practice and stuff either. So, you know, as far as I know, he's looking like he did when he was a freshman, you know, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But
I've bragged on that dude multiple times. That dude's a unit. He's huge. Looks like a freaking a black Terminator. But anyways, Edward, go ahead, sir. You got the floor real quick before I let my boy Trenches come on.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, I was just live. I had you and Fishing on. Pete, if you ever want to come on my show, come on, man. I'm happy to have you on.
Hey, listen, I'm going anyone's show. I mean, I'm supposed to be doing a show right now. Hey, how about you trash talk my internet provider? Because I've been out without internet for almost 9 hours now.
Who's your internet provider?
Home Telecom.
Telecom?
Yeah, Home Telecom.
I got your back. Yeah. I'll go ahead and clown them for you.
Yeah, you should do that.
Okay. Viewer discretion is advised. Parental advisory. Maybe some explicit content. If anybody in the StreamYard or in the comments section needs to go to the restroom or refill waters, we advise please do so at this time. Anyone? No? Okay, well, guess what? You've been warned. Buckle your seatbelts. This is going to be a bumpy ride. All right, what was the name again? Home Telecom. Home Telecom. Okay. Home Telecom, it's time for you boys to get your prick guesses into the cloud box, take your medicine, eat your crow. Hey, Home Telecom, no nothing for you. Well, Home Telecom, you shut off Pete's internet for no reason whatsoever. You know, that's unacceptable. You do that. You know, I like, you know, I do the lunch money with him and Uncle Lou. You have to shut his internet off, and for what reason? Why don't you tell me the reason, dumbass prick? Tell me. I want it right now. You know, Pete could be doing a call-in show right now, but you shut his internet off. Yo, come on, shut the fuck up, Home Telecom. You don't got the right to turn off my boy Pete's internet. You know what? Wherever the hell you're at, I'll go ahead and get my baseball bat, turn that gun sideways, shine it up real nice, stick it right up your dandy ass. You better put his internet back on. Otherwise, I'm going to come find you. And you don't want me to come find you now, do you? So Home Telecom internet, you garbage. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, do I see? Oh, look at that. Here's home telecom. Home telecom. You see home telecom in here? Just home telecom here. Home telecom is got me. Don't you ever shut down Pete's internet service ever again, you stupid pricks, all right? And that's the bottom line, because I said so, you stupid pricks.
You know what? When I finally get them on the phone tomorrow, I'm going to play a recording of Edward yelling at them through the phone. That's what I'm going to do.
You should, and record it too and get their reaction.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Good job, Edward.
Thank you. You mind if I also clown Miami beforehand? I was supposed to do it on your show, but
No, not yet. I want you to say that. I can only handle. Yeah, I can only handle one clown.
okay,
per show.
one per night. Okay, well, I'll save Miami for another night then.
Okay. But I do want to let you know, though, Edward. I know we haven't talked about this ever.
Yeah.
Georgia beat Alabama with a walk-on quarterback. Yeah, it's crazy. Dude's like 5'6", not the number 1, number 2 quarterback in the nation, but he still slayed Nick Saban. So I thought you should know that next time you get a chance to trash talk Alabama, So anyways, but yeah, I'll let you go. Okay, I'm going to bring on Trenches. Okay.
All right. Have a good night, Tiger. Fishing. Thanks for having me on. Pete, have a good night. I'd love to have you on my stream whenever you're ready, man.
All right, just send me an email, Edward.
Well, with the link, right?
Yes.
I got you.
All right.
All right. I'll see you. I'll see you on the Lunch Money Show Monday night, Pete. You and Lou.
All right, buddy.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Hey, bud.
TB, you want to post the link again? I can't get the. It's gone and passed.
Yeah. Sippy, if you want to come in here and talk some trash about Southern Miss beating some teams, there you go. All right, we got Trenches in here with a really nice.
What's up, man? Picture, yeah, I thought we were cool, TB, and then you make me follow that, man. I don't know what the hell to do now.
Well, I mean that profile picture. That's guys. That's Scooby Doo from Scooby Doo 2.
Exactly right. Yep, you nailed it.
Yeah. What's up,
that's
big dog? You want to come on here, talk some trash for me, big dog?
Yeah, well, not really trash, man. I'm just excited that we were 30 days away. It's nice to finally get on here and actually just talk football. And I know y'all are talking about Clemson, man. The thing about Clemson that should scare a lot of people, which I still have a bet with Pete, but the thing about Clemson is Clemson literally has the defense that Georgia had last year. The question is can that offense get clicking to go with it?
It seems like every time I turn around, somebody tells me I have a bet with them. What's our bet again?
Remember, I laid the ACC and took Miami, $50. Remember that one?
What is it now?
I took Miami for the ACC.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm done with that one. Yeah,
that's going to be really challenging when Miami's going to finish second in the Coastal.
Don't worry about it. Just let it happen.
Okay. Damn.
When Pete beats Miami out in the Coastal, that's going to be tough.
That's fine. But
now, hold on. Hey,
I don't want Pete forgetting that bet.
If we don't beat Alabama in the SEC championship for the next 10 years, but beat them in the Natty,
I'm cool with
I'll
that.
take it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we beat Alabama with we basically Kunta Kinte'd ourselves by putting Stetson Bennett at quarterback and still won. I mean, bro, like y'all were driving the ship. Like, come on, bro. My bad.
We actually did Alabama and Georgia on AAA today, and for the first time since 2009, I had 2 undefeateds going into the SEC championship.
Wow.
And look, and it's not even being just a homer. Georgia has the biggest cupcake schedule I've seen under Kirby Smart.
Facts.
And Alabama
cupcake schedule. They've had the same schedule for the last 30 years. You're saying the teams they are playing this year happen not to be very good now.
Well, even out of conference. So, like Oregon, they're decent, but we're already an 18-point favorite on Oregon. Okay, yeah. If you look at actually talented rosters, the best team we're going to be playing this year is Tennessee. Maybe Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Oregon.
What I'm saying
That's
is, are you punishing Bama for having a talented roster? I mean,
No.
not Bama. Are you punishing Georgia? Are you punishing Georgia
No,
for having
12-0
That's what I'm
is
saying.
12-0. I mean, there's
I
in
know,
the
but I'm
SEC,
saying-
you run 12-0, you're guaranteed at least to Atlanta, and then maybe a playoff spot even with a loss. That's just how the college football works.
Yeah, and
now, Bama has a lot
not
harder
arguing,
road to
I'm
get
just
there.
saying.
Well, that's a
for
good
sure,
point.
For sure.
Yeah,
That's a good point. So, but the reason Bama has a harder road,
harder schedule.
and Bama, in on the other hand, has had an extremely easy schedule because Ole Miss hasn't been good. Texas A&M has been just decent. LSU in some years hasn't been good. Mississippi State was bad, and they're better. Who am I missing? There's Arkansas. Yeah, every team in the West is better this year.
I'll be honest with you. Arkansas is the game. If I'm Alabama, I'm a little bit worried about because not even just because they're better.
Yeah,
it comes the week before Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. I say that. Yeah, I agree with that, and I'll say Ole Miss is tricky too because Ole Miss, after this whole stretch of all these tough games, they're the last one, and they got to go to Ole Miss. I think that one's tough too.
Man, y'all showing no love to Tennessee at all, are you?
I said Tennessee might be Georgia's hardest game. I think they're the second best team in the East. I think they're on the come up. I just don't think they have what it takes just yet to beat Alabama or Georgia yet.
Correct. Same opinion. Mm-hmm.
They're a good team.
And they have no defense. Defense is dog doo-doo.
They have no defense, and Georgia kind of figured out a way to utilize the Hendon Hooker trick.
Yep.
And I get it. We lost a lot, but every single player you're about to see on the field for Georgia has been playing all season last year too. People love to hate on the fact that Jordan Davis don't get 80 plays a game or whatever. This is the reason why.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you don't believe what Golden
opinion.
Blue Dude said about Gamecocks beating Georgia this year?
Didn't he also say like West Virginia is going to the Pac-12 in 1 week and then?
Yeah, I don't know.
What hasn't he said? What has he not said? That's a better question.
I like Golden Blue Dude, but no, I don't agree with that. I don't, dude. All right, my issue with South Carolina because I've heard tons of people saying South Carolina could be on the come up, and they're putting a lot of stock into Spencer Rattler.
Exactly. Yes.
Spencer Rattler didn't look impressive against non-SEC defenses. Now you're thinking he's going to look better now? I don't see it.
And not to mention, he had a better offensive roster around him at Oklahoma than he's going to have at South Carolina.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I'm not one of the people that's
coach.
I guess
down on him. No, go ahead, TB.
Well, I don't want to. I'm playing devil's advocate, but at the same time, I do believe this. Did Spencer Rattler look better than DJ Uiagalelei?
Yes.
DJ played tougher defenses.
Yeah, he did. I mean, DJ was terrible, man.
You think you see? Okay, and I'm not. And what I'm saying is, with that being said, Spencer Rattler needed to be humbled. Dude was an asshole. Like, dude was a straight up ignorant hockey butthole, dude. Well, now you're at South Carolina where you had to be humbled, you had to be this and that. My thing is, I think he comes back stronger. He may not be great or elite, but I think dude comes back and actually lives up to his hype instead of the talk and all the social media and all that. That's kind of my thought. So,
well, let me ask you this, T. If we're going to get into his character flaws and the fact that he was an asshole, he needs to be humbled. One of his biggest character flaws you can't just fix by going to a different school, and that's he crumbled under pressure time and time again.
Yeah, partly I think he had Caleb Williams nipping at his heels the whole year, and he's not going to really have that at South Carolina. So he doesn't really have to worry about that. But, I mean, let's say that, things aren't going well offensively in the first 4, 5, 6 games even for Rattler. Is he going to start to be a distraction? Is he going to be pouting on the sideline and blaming receivers? And I mean, that's what I'm looking for. I
don't think he will. One thing I know that will help him, and like we said, South Carolina has no talent really. They've got a few decent players, and that's it. There's a lot of areas lacking. I think one thing that will help him is having Shane Beamer, just because he was at Oklahoma with him. That'll help probably. And I think Spencer Rattler is a really good quarterback, but when, like y'all are saying, when you're surrounded by a team that's just not as good and talented, I don't really know how much you can really do.
I just don't see why we're talking about the kid so much. Like everywhere you look, they're talking about Spencer Rattler. I don't even think he's a top 3 SEC quarterback this year.
Probably not.
Bryce, Stetson, Will Levis. Like I wouldn't even put him in the top 3.
He is the best quarterback that South Carolina's had in a while, and probably ever since Connor Shaw. but that's not saying much
Mhm.
because they haven't really had that great of quarterback play in the past 5 or 6 years. But
Right.
No, I agree with you.
Now,
It's just
I
like
know we
said,
haven't,
you're also stepping
talked
up in
about-
competition with TV.
I know we haven't talked about Alabama yet. I forgot, but is Alabama's offensive line going to be better this year? Or are they giving up another 33 sack, or what was it, most sacks in the SEC? But yet they have a blue chip roster. I'm just from what I hear on the street. I don't know what you guys thought about that.
I don't know, man. It's the biggest question marks for Alabama is that O-line and the wide receiver core. Besides
Yeah.
that, man, I mean, they're pretty loaded roster to roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I want to say yes just because they lose Evan Neal, and then that's about it on offensive line. So I want to say yeah. And then they're trying to kind of replace the wide receivers from the transfer portal. I don't know how well it'll work. You got to think that Nick Saban thinks they're going to be good enough, or at least close to good enough. But, I mean, it's hard to replace Mechie and Jamison Williams. And with a Louisville wide receiver and the way Jermaine Burton, I said this too, Jermaine Burton is the most talented receiver from Georgia that was on Georgia's team last year, but not the most utilized. So
I don't know who you're talking about. That guy's dead to me. I don't know who you're talking about.
I think if you're trying to find weaknesses on Alabama's team, I mean, it's kind of like you're splitting hairs, really. I mean,
yeah,
they might have guys that weren't huge contributors last year because they were behind guys like Mechie and some of these. I mean, but it's their time to shine now. I mean, the way they've been recruiting and the coach that they have over the past 10 years plus, it's hard to believe that Alabama's going to be taking any sort of step back. I mean, I think last year was probably one of the, maybe not a rebuilding year because they don't rebuild, but maybe one of their down years and they made it to the national championship.
I agree.
Yeah, I disagree. I think they have to rebuild because I heard that rebuild, but when 2 wide receivers go down, and you can't win a national championship. The rebuild was not there. And then all we heard before the Natty was, Guy Hall's a monster. Guy Hall's going to tear it up.
I like that point because if you didn't need those receivers so bad during the season to win crucial games, maybe you would have more depth and more experience.
And look, I'm with Pete on one thing.
Well, maybe if you
were
weren't
right, you're choosing 5-star v 5-star, but
yeah,
I think people are really underestimating what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do in that offense.
I do too.
From Georgia Tech.
I do too. Yeah.
My question is, do they utilize him as a receiving back?
I think they will.
Yeah, they will.
Bill O'Brien's really creative offensively, and I think they'll use him in the special teams game as well. They'd be stupid not to, really.
Yeah. Well, boys, I got to bounce off here real quick. I just want to say what's up for a little bit, talk a little bit of football. I will see y'all later.
Hey man, appreciate it.
All right, see you later, Trenches.
See
ya. No, dude, I agree completely. I think Jahmyr Gibbs does not have to run in between the tackle for him to be successful at Bama because they will treat him. They'll utilize him the same way we did James Cook. He'll, kill it with the wide receivers, space everything out, and then give it to him in open space and let him work. I mean, that's what I see. So,
do y'all remember Trey Sanders?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got in the car accident and he's starting to play football again. They thought he would never play again.
Yeah.
So they have him, they have Jahmyr Gibbs, and they have Jace McClellan. So if Jace McClellan can kind of step up and be that in between to the tackle back, then there you go. The running back core is much better than you thought it was. But I agree. If you try to overutilize Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, not only are you risking injury, but you're kind of being one-sided, and obviously that's not what Saban does. So
I don't think they'll overuse him, but I think that he will be an integral part of that offense. That's really what I was.
Yeah, no, I really do. I really do. Yeah.
I just I think going to the Clemson, Bama, Georgia, and Ohio State. I think Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama are up there as far as offense. But then I think Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama are up there on defense. And it's like, for me, like y'all said, I know that it's hard to find things wrong, but when I found out that not only did Auburn have 6 sacks against Bama, but that Bama gave up the most sacks in SEC, that to me says something. because that means, you just click on the link, Nick. Just jump in you just click the link right there, buddy. You come on in and we'll pull you in. So I don't know. I mean, that's why I say their one weakness right now is offensive line. That's my mindset.
You know what another weakness is, actually?
What?
Which is not going to matter too much, but tight end.
Yeah.
That's surprising to hear you say that.
Well, they got Cameron Latu, and then Jaleel Billingsley left and went to Texas.
Yeah.
So I don't know who else other than Latu they have on tight end.
I don't remember them really using a tight end last year though. So
well, actually,
they
used
didn't,
Billingsley a lot, and he dropped a lot of passes. If you go back and look, he dropped a lot of passes actually, and he probably got some hate for it, and that's maybe why he transferred. I don't know, but
yeah, no, and I agree. Lawtod saying every year is different. No, I agree completely. That's the thing about college football. That is crazy. But it's like when I look at, I don't know, like I said, when I look at what's going into this year, I don't have anything, I can't see the future. So I'm just talking about what we had. But X-Wing said they got to transfer tight end. Lawtod saying they got to do from JUCO. I guess that's the same dude they're talking about. He's supposed to be big time.
Well, see, the more you know. I mean,
well, and that's like when we talk about Georgia. All right, what's Georgia's weakness? Quarterbacks. I mean, yes, Stetson did great, but he was the least contributing person in that entire game, except for the last 4 plays on offense. That's it. I mean, the whole game, dude fumbled when he was scrambling. There wasn't nobody around him. He knocked it off his knee. Like, dude, come on. Like the postman runs faster to the door and back to the truck. Come on. So Georgia's problem is we don't develop quarterbacks very well.
The old saying still rings true. I know it's an offensive game now and everyone's focused on offenses, but defense still can win championships, and Georgia's a prime example of that from last year.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And you know what's funny? Because the year before last year, when Georgia had that amazing defense, and this is when Florida was really good on offense, but we were thinking college football is kind of changing. Elite offenses are what's going to win. And if you can't stop the offense and you can't stop the scoring, then blah, blah, blah. But we kind of got really back to reality pretty quick with last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lawtod said Kentucky's O-line coach is at Bama right now. That's crazy. And he was doing good because Kentucky was on the rise. But Jay Shipe said 39. Bryce got sacked 39 times last year. He said, let's shoot for 50 this year, guys. Bro.
And Jay trying to kill that man.
I know.
Damn. Boy, man got more sacks than a lot lizard. Like, God dang, son, that's tough. Oh, yeah,
won the Heisman though.
Anyway, what'd you say?
I said he was sacked all them times, still won the Heisman though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this is my thing. Because you let that man throw for 47,000 times a game or 47,000 yards, and you try your best to get these receivers to 1,000 yards apiece, what happened? You didn't develop your backups. So therefore, when they went down, wasn't nobody else ready. But coach, but they supposed to be 5 stars. Yeah, but you don't play them because you're up by 21 points, still throwing the ball, trying to give Bryce 18 touchdowns and the receiver 250 yards. That's what I love about Georgia on offense. They don't care. They don't care. They got guys wanting to transfer because they're not getting enough. They got Jermaine Burton wanting to transfer because he feels like he's not getting enough touches, but still pulling in the natty. We're not trying to force anything. So that's what I appreciate about Georgia.
I just don't know how you have a quarterback room that stacked and you tolerate sitting behind Stetson. I just don't understand.
Kirby he's just way too conservative. Way too conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to criticize. I mean, listen, they won the title, so it's hard to criticize someone who just won the title.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's an outlying thing. I don't think you can be that conservative every year and continue to win championships that way.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I mean,
no, go ahead, Fish.
Well, when you look at Georgia, there's not many weak spots, and like you said, quarterback. But for that to be a weak spot, and how talented that room is, I mean, you kind of throw that out the window. But so that's what Kirby's built is an extremely talented roster. So I mean, you can be conservative and win, and we've seen them do it. So, but like Pete said, I mean, year in and year out, I think that could hurt you in the long run.
I think that he was so conservative, though, to be honest. I think he was really conservative because of how bad he wanted that championship. I think he was so conservative that it hurt him. And now that he's got one under his belt, I'm hoping that it allows him to, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, man.
allows
I
him to
think
open
it's
up
in
a
his
little bit.
nature. I just think that's in his nature.
Well, let me ask you a question
I
because
mean, of course, he
every
literally-
head coach is different when it's. I mean, you got a defensive coach, and we're talking about offense. How
Mhm.
much of that team, that offensive team, is decisions made by Kirby, and how much power is he given to his OC? Because
Exactly.
it varies from head coach to head coach.
Yep.
I
Yep.
agree. I think Kirby's very much his hands are in because you remember when Lane Kiffin was at Alabama and Lane Kiffin was throwing the ball all the time and it pissed Nick Saban off because he wanted to be more conservative. Kirby is before that Nick Saban. Kirby's so conservative that, like, I bet he's got pictures of Herschel Walker all over his room. And I ain't talking about for football. Like, he's conservative. Like, I'm saying he's conservative. So that's what I'm saying. So anyway, but I think now that he's won one, I think it helps to open up more, you know, and he may not open up completely this year, but I think, I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I do think it varies, but I think Kirby's one of the most conservative coaches in college football.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Brian Kelly's up there too a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But conservative in the bad way where you go the safe route, even though we're talking quarterbacks, you go the safe route, even though you have talent sitting there. Like, that's the bad kind of conservative. You can be conservative in a good way.
If you had somebody hurt or and you only got one guy and that's your main guy, you don't want to get him hurt. I get what you're saying.
Well, the biggest like bombshell, you know, the biggest failure at not adapting was Les Miles. Les Miles is like the poster child for doing that. Now, I'm not saying Kirby Smart's Les Miles because he's not, but yeah, I mean that was his ultimate demise was you know, failing to adapt to the changing of the game.
No,
No, you're right. You're right.
I do want to say
Nick
this.
Saban's the best at is adapting because.
Well, that was his downfall. Plus, he was like fucking college students. I mean, that's a different story.
Oh, you talking about Les Miles?
Yeah.
Well, you had was in hot tubs with college students as well. So it seems like that's a trend at LSU.
Well, she was 18, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we was 18. We was making crawfish, Your Honor.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he dumped his wife to be with 18-year-olds. He did do that.
Yeah, he's sponsored by Old Bay Seasoning, bro. Easy. All right, look. So Lawtime makes a good point. All right. He says he's worried about Georgia's linebacker core. And I agree. He's not being a jerk. We lost all three of our linebackers. Two of them went in the first round, I believe. Quay Walker and anyways, all three of them went to the draft. I know one went in the first round. We had 5 defensive players go. We have 3 linebackers stepping up. One in Mikael Sherman, who was the highest rated linebacker we've ever gotten at Georgia. Highest rated. But does not have the experience as all the other guys have had. So I think we'll be very talented, but I'm hoping within these first 3 or 4 games, give those guys time to take that starting role. I know they have playing time, but difference between getting playing time and starting, you know. So
yeah, you know who I like? I'm gonna give you 3. I'm gonna give you a D lineman, a linebacker, and a defensive back. Well, maybe not a D lineman. I forgot about that. Anyway, Smell Munden, That's one.
Boy, if you don't call him by his, it's small.
Small.
Smell.
It's spelled like
You don't
smell.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and Jaheim Singletary. I think I like him too.
Got you.
And Keely Ringo.
No, I do like that. I want to. This is crazy too. I want to bring this up. Alabama's receiving core from last year, right? These are the yards. Jameson Williams, and John Mechie. 1,570, 1,140. All right. Third and fourth are at 400. The two behind them are at 300. You're in a pass-happy offense, and those guys got that. Now, granted, I know they're good and they need to start, but I want to compare this with the schedule, because if they did have a lot of tight games, then I can understand. But if I found a few games on here where they were up by 27, 38 points, whatever it was, then
no, you won't. They played everybody really close. Arkansas was a close game. Tennessee was a close game. They beat Ole Miss pretty bad. Auburn was a close game. There was a lot of close ones.
I sound like I'm defending Alabama now, but this goes for every team. Now, tell me the year before that, what were Mechie and Williamson's numbers at their respective universities? I know Mechie was in Alabama, but Williamson came from Ohio State, right?
Yeah, he couldn't get on the field there because of that wide receiver room.
So he only had the year before that. He only had 400 yards receiving, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying is the year before. I guess what I'm trying to prove is that's the downfall of being in that kind of offense is when one of those star guys goes down, it's tough to be able to depend on the next guy. And don't listen to me. Listen to the fans that just lost the national championship. Blame, their wide receivers being hurt. Because Georgia, we're walking. No, go ahead, Pete. My bad.
No, I'm saying I get it. First of all, that's what fans do. Every time a team loses a national championship, they start blaming refs and injuries. That's just what every fan base does. But all I'm saying is everyone talks about every year, well, Alabama lost this guy and they lost that guy. And then, but then the next year, it's somebody else that is a superstar. And it just goes on year after year like that. Not just Alabama. A lot of these schools, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia. There's probably 7, 8, 9, 10 teams that can claim that, and it's just the way it is. But
so I'm gonna name the scores to you guys. So Alabama versus Miami for the first game of the season, 44-13. They beat Mercer, of course they should have, 48-14. Southern Miss 63-14. They beat Mississippi.
Don't let Sippy hear that.
Yeah. They beat Ole Miss 42-21. They beat Mississippi State 49, Mississippi State 49-9. They beat Tennessee 52-24, New Mexico State 59-3. That is 6 or 7 games that were blowouts that your other guys should have been playing. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
Because if I go through
Hold
these
on. No,
games,
you're looking at. Are you looking at 20?
Nope, 21. 21?
21? Arkansas and Alabama was like a 45-38 game.
Yeah, I didn't name all the games, dog. It was 41-38. That was what Tech saying. I know.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah, because then they almost lost to LSU as well. I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Almost lost to Auburn. What I'm saying is there were close games, but in games like Mississippi State, you beat them, 38-7, or you beat Arkansas 48-7. If I go on here and find out that your, receivers had, let me look. Of course, I can't find it now. But yeah, I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they still, there's, like Pete said, there's receivers on the roster that, other than the transfers that came in, they're going to step up, and you'll know their name this year. Ja'Cory Brooks will be one. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they didn't recruit a bunch of scrubs, bro.
Yeah.
You talking about Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's what I'm saying is you beat New Mexico State 59-3. Jameson had 160 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then literally no other receiver had more than 2 catches. It's like those are the games. My favorite Alabama was when they had Hurts and Tua, and they were playing both of them. They'd be up by 30 points. They'd bring in Jalen Hurts and let him throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was
Like,
fun to watch. You got to also think though,
that-
TB, whenever that you bring up that Jameson stat, Jameson transferred in, so maybe they didn't even know what he really was at that point too. Maybe they were just kind of figuring it out.
Trying to get him going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But that's all I'm saying is I've noticed, at Georgia, they spread the ball around to everybody. We don't and I know that's not the best way to run an offense, but it is very equally equality, bro. Equality.
Yeah, they spread the ball around to everybody except for the quarterback.
Right.
Because when they bring in the backup quarterback, they don't let him throw the ball.
Yeah,
Man,
exactly.
hell no. That man hand the ball off. I remember Justin Fields after the game against South Carolina. They were like, "Hey, good game, bro." He said, "Yeah, I handed the ball off good as, bro." I was like, "Oh, like, well." And then but Lawtie's right. Georgia sucks at developing quarterbacks. That's why all these Georgia fans, he's going to be terrible. He's such a bust. Dude goes to Ohio State and throws for like 41 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Like, come on.
Well, who sucks at developing quarterbacks, Georgia or Kirby?
Oh, I'm
know
gonna go
what I'm
Georgia. I'm going Georgia.
You're going Georgia,
Because
yeah.
when I go back before Kirby, the only one I can think of ever was Aaron Murray, and then before that was David Green, and we had one black guy. Like,
damn, you guys had a black guy that played quarterback? I didn't know that Georgia ever had one.
He waited his turn like a good old boy, and he played his senior year. We let him have that.
God damn.
So I'm just saying, that's my thing is Georgia's not known for that. So the whole ground and pound deal, I do like that Kirby is keeping that with Georgia. That whole, we're going to shove it down your throat type deal. We're going to insert the water hose and get the blowing and going type deal. But,
That's still the funniest clip I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Has Pete seen that?
I ain't seen it.
Yeah, what? Let me see it.
Well, I mean, I'll let you hear it. I think we did let him hear it, bro. Did we?
Yeah, but I don't
may
know
have.
if Pete heard it though.
I might have.
It was Brent Venables in a press conference when he was talking about the team, and he said, "We've got the water hose inserted in the mouth fully, and we're blowing and going right now."
Yeah.
Now, was this when he was at Clemson, or is this an Oklahoma?
No, his I think it was when he first got to Oklahoma.
Oh, that's why. That's why. That's why I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it real quick for everybody. I think that. Oh, here you go.
It's been just like you would expect. The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here. We've been blowing and going, and so.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
I don't know what they doing to him there, bro. But
you compare that to Slapdick. I mean, which one? I don't know.
Something tells me that came out the wrong way. I don't know.
It probably went in the wrong way too.
Bro, I think that's a cry for help, bro. That's a in code. That's a cry for help in code. But no, anyways,
I think he even did the hand motion too, like where he
did. He did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you ain't do that on this. I don't need my screen taken down.
No.
But I want Pete's opinion on who was the offensive coordinator that went to Virginia?
Tony Elliott.
Yeah. How was I know he retired from driving NASCAR. Now he's offensive coordinator, or he was. Now he's head coach at Virginia. Up or down? Give me an over under for Virginia this year.
Over under amount of wins?
Are you saying coaching hire like good or bad?
No, I'm just saying I don't know how to explain it, but good or bad? Is he going to do good this season, or is he going to do bad this season?
Well, my prediction for Virginia on the ACC show was 7-5. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can. I mean, listen, we're talking about Virginia here, so 7 wins is about right for any Virginia team on any given year. They had a couple of really good seasons under Mendenhall, but I mean, first-year head coach. They do have one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC, Armstrong. He's going to be good. It's really hard to say, man. I mean, the Coastal Division it has the most parity of any division in all of college football. And you got teams like Pitt in there. You got teams like Miami. You got teams like North Carolina. For whatever reason, even a lot of years when Virginia was better than Virginia Tech still beat them at the end of the year. So, I mean, and it's not like, Mendenhall didn't get fired for being terrible because he was a really good coach there. He just retired from football altogether. And so they brought in Tony Elliott. So he's still got a pretty good roster. He's got a good quarterback. But I still think it's, he's limited at what he can do in his first year there. So I think 7 wins is about right, which I think is decent for his first. If they win 7 games in his first season, I think that's a positive sign. Now, if they only win like 4 games, then I'd be like, what's going on here? But
yeah, TB, when we did the last Saturday, what did we say? Virginia was dead last and averaging, giving up yards. They gave up the most yards of any team in the ACC.
We pulled up the stat.
Yeah, defensively they were terrible. They were terrible. Yeah.
But the quarterback, and like I was telling TB, Armstrong he's a unit. He got hurt so many times last year, and he still walked back on that field.
That's not good if he's injury prone, because I'll tell you one thing, Tony Elliott loves running the quarterback, and he's going to run the shit out of that guy. Yeah. So he better put his running shoes on, man.
I know.
I can see that. Well, that's my curiosity is how Tony Elliott's going to be as a head coach, because like we talked about earlier with coaches who have their hands in that, are conservative and keep their offense coordinators from doing what they want to do. Now that Tony Elliott has full go, you see what I'm saying? Is he gonna crap the bed, or is he gonna, that's what I'm curious to see. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Tony Elliott, he's a stubborn guy, I think, and maybe that's for the better in some situations and for the worst in others. But just like Brent Venables, he comes from the same school of thought. Their mentors both, Dabo Swinney, obviously, and you can see a lot of similarities in the way they run their programs as the way that Dabo runs Clemson. But the difference is, at Oklahoma, you are a shoe-in to get 4- and 5-star recruits year in and year out, just based on your name alone. Same thing with Clemson right now. At Virginia, that's a different story. So
agreed.
He's got an uphill to climb. I think in the long run he'll do good by Virginia standards, but not by national standards, which is much par for the course for that university.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Pete. We see Venables go to Oklahoma. Do you think he could have got a better job?
That's one of the top 5 jobs in the country, bro. I mean,
no. I'm talking about Elliott.
Oh, Elliott.
Yeah.
Well, I know. No, I don't think he could have got a better job. Not right now. Not as his first head coaching job.
Yeah.
If he's able to actually put together a couple of 9 or 10 win seasons at Virginia, he'll probably get interest at a different university. But I don't think that he was going to get a job. Like, what would you consider to be a better job than Virginia for Elliott? Like, are you talking about like a Florida job or an LSU job?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Well, he stays in the same conference, so that's interesting. But I mean, I was just saying, like, in your opinion, do you think he was fit to be appropriate for a better job? So maybe like an SEC team, like a Mizzou or something. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't know. I think Virginia is actually a very good landing spot for his first job. I don't think he would have got much better than that. I mean, listen,
there's not a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and half of the Clemson fan base at least was calling him to be fired as the offensive coordinator at Clemson, let alone a head coach. So
yeah,
agreed.
That's why I asked that, because he had such a bad year last year. But
yeah,
and of course you have your quarrels about him, but in past years, I mean, he's put together a good Clemson offense. So
yeah, I'm not saying he was a bad quarterback. I mean, the guy's got a couple of national championship rings on his finger.
Right.
I ain't hating on the guy,
Right. Yeah.
But he also wasn't the offensive coordinator a few years ago. He was the co-offensive coordinator this past year. But before that, wasn't he the quarterback coach?
Well, he was the co-offensive coordinator with Jeff Scott. And then when Jeff Scott took the job at USF, he just became the sole offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what's kind of awkward to me is last year I felt the same way that they felt about Tony Elliott is how Bama fans felt about Bill O'Brien. So a lot of Bama fans hated his play call. So
Yeah.
but I mean, at the same time, I don't know if you blame him or the O-line coach, which now they have a better one. I'm just saying. All right, yeah, coaches on the hot seat though. I guess that's all I'll say. Alan A, you still awake, bro? You still showing
Yeah.
happy
Hey,
face?
hey guys, I got to hop off of here, but I really appreciate you letting me come on.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah,
Yes,
Pete,
sir.
I appreciate it. You know I
All
do.
right, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Great show you guys got going here.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, bro.
All right, I'll
Appreciate you.
talk to y'all later.
So I guess I'll post the StreamYard link if anybody else wants to come on. Alan A, we want you to talk, buddy. But let's talk about coaches in the hot seat, and then if we don't have anything else after that, we'll wrap it up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What you got?
The obvious one is
I like
Dino
that.
Babers at Syracuse. That's the obvious one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
This
think
one's a
Syracuse
little bit
got-
hard because so many coaches got fired last year. It's kind of hard to find any for this year unless you're kind of hot take picking with this one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Scott Frost,
if
I'll tell you
on the
that.
hot
Scott
take
Frost.
there, yeah, definitely Scott Frost. I
Yeah.
say we'll name a few on our own. You said Syracuse. I think we both agree on Scott Frost. I'm gonna say. Oh, I'm going Florida State.
Ooh, I like that.
Had a decent year, but if they can't flip some stuff around or they do worse than they did last year,
If they don't go 7-5, he's probably getting fired.
yeah. I like what Lawtide
Yeah.
just said too.
What do you say?
Auburn.
Yeah, man. We talked about this last week. Last year when Auburn was at the beginning of the season, Auburn was on a roll and they controlled their own destiny going into the SEC West. It was them and Alabama at one point during the season because they were just kind of on a roll. I don't think Auburn is going to be too great this year, but I think it's really messed up how they just tried to push Brian Harsin out the door after 1 year, one bad year, first year. It's I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely one because he could get fired. That's for sure.
Yeah, they came out with all the allegations and all of that. I remember that.
Yeah, and then half of it, it's there's no proof. Nobody knows what was really true and not true. It's just,
Well, it's the only reason it came up or became a big deal is you had a bunch of players transferring, and a lot of them were saying the same things. So it kind of
yeah. And you know what else? They hired Derek Mason was the defensive coordinator. They hired him as defensive coordinator. He was the head coach at Vanderbilt. And there was other ones I can't think of right now, but they internally hired. They hired people from the SEC because Brian Harsin came from Boise State, so they were like, he doesn't have experience here. And it's a smart thing to do, but a lot of people have said, and what we've learned is that Brian Harsin's he's real edgy and he's a little bit tough and maybe he's hard to get along with, and that's why the coaches left. So. And then so he's brought his guys in from Boise State that he used to coach with. So maybe that helps, and maybe they are a better team. I don't know, but that could be a thing with that could be a thing with the players transferring too. Maybe they feel the same way.
Yeah, you're very right, dude. That's crazy, dude. Give me one then. Yeah, give me another team.
Boston College.
You got Boston College. I don't know about that.
Just because nobody expects anything out of BC.
Right. No standard.
Except eliminating back pain, BC powder.
BC powder. BC College.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody.
I guess I'll tell you what I don't think's going to happen, but Steve Sarkisian.
Oh.
I don't think it'll happen, but.
Now, is this true? Derek Mason left Auburn and is at Oklahoma State right now?
Yes, and he makes less money. He left for less money.
Wow.
Yep.
That's how bad Auburn
Bro,
is.
He about to put in work.
That's why I say that with Brian Harsin being edgy and stuff. Like that's why I say that.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to get
that
out.
makes sense.
So and I think it's Mike Bobo. That was the
Bobo
OC. That's the one I'm thinking about. It was Mike Bobo, I think.
But Texas one is a good take because you got all these recruits coming in. You've been able to buy a few things here and there. If y'all mess around and only win 4 games this year, bro, they're not gonna leave Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning in the hands of him. They gonna get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, that could be this year for Texas is really crucial for Steve Sarkisian because if you have a bad year and you're thinking about firing him, if those recruits love Sarkisian, they're gone.
Yeah. Lawtime made a good point. He said Stanford's coach. Yeah, Stanford, you hadn't heard from them in a while,
Yeah.
dude.
What's his name again? I forget his name.
I have no idea.
Uh,
Ole Miss
I,
predicted to be fifth in the West.
I know his name. I just forget it.
Ole Miss.
Now this,
What's that, Alan?
nah. Go ahead, DB. I'll say something.
No, you go ahead.
I know this one dude that's like 70 something years old that's probably on his last leg. I think his name is Nick Saban.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, look, Ole Miss is predicted to be fifth in the SEC West. I don't see how people are disrespecting Kiffin like that. Jay, I brought that up when we talked about it because Ole Miss last year, dude. Oh, David Shaw is his name, fishing.
Yeah, David Shaw. Yep.
But bro, freaking Lane Kiffin last year was what was he? What did I say? He was 6-2. Is there 6-0 at home in the West or something like that? Like, bro, Ole Miss. I don't see how. And this was another thing. This was a really good one, guys. If Ole Miss dominates with the kids they got out of the transfer portal, then Ole Miss, because it's not a good recruiting spot, nobody wants to go to Mississippi. They will become transfer portal U, where players that leave want to go somewhere will go to Ole Miss because they know they can play SEC teams, they can play NFL caliber teams, players that are going to the draft in the first, second, and third round, and be able to show their worth. So that's my thought, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only problem with Ole Miss is they got no NIL money. They can't get much talent. The only thing Kiffin can do is really build his roster off the transfer portal.
Yeah,
because everybody, the best offensive players. Let's say you have a college football season where you have really good offensive players or whatever players, but they want to leave, and then they'll go to Ole Miss. That's the obvious choice if you want to explode and just help your career.
That's a very good. Hey, that's a very good point. I do have to say, Lawtie brings up Mike Leach. I guess this is my thing with Mike Leach, bro. I think Mike Leach is actually really, really good, bro. Really good.
I don't see that one at all, to be honest.
But I think the thing is, Mike Leach has not been able to have his recruits. And I think that's kind of my goal with him is imagine that dude with multiple 4- and 5-star receivers across the board when they throw the ball 50 times a game, because that's what recruits want. And just like any other team besides Bama in the West, those guys aren't favored to win the West every year. Bama is. But yet star receivers still go to these other schools. So, hey, you don't have to win a championship to get drafted. That's all. I mean,
yeah. But like I was saying, that there's no NIL money in Mississippi. There's nothing in Mississippi.
No.
So it's going to be too hard to get the talent.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Jay says, let Ole Miss take down Saban in Oxford. Kiffin would be unbearable on Twitter. Yeah. Facts.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about Jim Harbaugh? What's up, Percy?
Who, me?
No, not you. We got either Percy Harvin or Percy Jackson. They just left. Never mind.
You know what? That's interesting. Harbaugh. Yeah.
I mean, Harbaugh just beat on.
He just go to a playoff. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And he just beat Ohio State. So
true. That's a good. Alan, thank you. There you go.
Yeah.
Some contribution here. Thank
Harbaugh
you.
went to the playoff. That's what I said, Nate. What did I say? So he took him to their first playoff last year. Percy Harvin or Percy Jackson, I need you to show your face so I can bring you on the stream.
Yeah, and then
or have your face.
You can turn it off.
Yeah, or have your face. Actually, I'm gonna need your face. I'm gonna need you to do at least 2 or 3 push-ups, if that's cool.
And he's gonna need your social security number.
No, I don't need a social security. Just
I
the
don't
last 4
need that.
digits.
I just need the credit card number so I can make sure that
Hold on, person.
the accounts align.
Let me do this real quick. How do I? Trying to figure something out before I bring him on.
What you trying to do?
Man, it's not working.
Can you tell me the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card?
Right.
Oh, here we go. Making Alan A face. The
I see
solo.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Percy, bringing you in, big dog.
What's going on, mate? How's it going?
Yo.
What's up, big dog?
What's up, man?
God fucking damn it.
Wait.
Chance. Hold on, mate. I'm dealing with a dying phone. I've got very little time here.
Yep.
Oh,
You good? Do you think? What's your favorite team? Who's your favorite team?
I'm actually a Florida Gator fan. I know, I'm in enemy territory.
No, you're not. No, sir, you're not.
Yeah, you have
Yeah, my
one of
boy
your
Fishing
kind in
Football
here.
here is yeah, Fishing Football's he's a fan. He's a fan as well.
Sadly.
But well, hey, since we have another Florida fan, tell me your idea, Percy. What do you think of Billy Napier, and what do you think of this first year? What's your thoughts on it?
So, initially, I think on paper, it's certainly a good hire. Now, I thought that the recruiting until late July was very concerning. But as of the last 2 weeks, he's really picked up momentum on the trail and made me a little bit more confident. But I don't know, man. To be honest, I actually was not an advocate of firing Dan Mullen. I was actually an advocate of doubling down on him in terms of an elite defensive coordinator, as well as an emphasis on recruiting by the athletic director, as well as an up in funding, as opposed to what they did for Billy Napier, where he came in and within 2 or 3 months they upped the recruiting budget $700,000 or $800,000. Mullen was here for 4 years. That was never in the cards. So,
Damn. Okay.
Well,
I mean, the same problems you had with what they did with Billy Napier. I mean, he's kind of saying, like, imagine Dan Mullen, who is a great game planner, a great designer. You know what I mean? See you, Lost
sure.
But definitely a good game planner, knows what he's doing. He's like a Lane Kiffin, but yet did not have a good defensive coordinator and needed somebody to help recruit, if not multiple coaches, because it's not just the head coach that recruits.
Yeah, Dan Mullen getting a bad habit of overestimating his own abilities and also becoming too close to the staff members around him. And not letting go of who should have been let go of long before they actually were. Because the truth be told, if he actually gets rid of Todd Grantham a year before, he probably doesn't get fired.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So my thing is, though, so I think it's a good thing he got fired, first off.
Interesting.
But I do see what you're saying. And I think if he gets rid of Todd Grantham and gets another better coach in there that actually recruits, maybe that changes. The problem I have with Dan Mullen is there's certain coaches that there's just one term that there's a phrase that you say and it just applies all across the board. Recruiters recruit, and Dan Mullen just wasn't a recruiter. Not to say he was bad at coaching, bad at developing anything. That's what he was amazing at. If you could add a recruiting factor to Dan Mullen's characteristics, I mean, he'd be a top 10 coach in the country, maybe. So, but
you know what's crazy is I think he actually is anyway, because if you look at his deficits as a coach in terms of his ability to recruit, and you look at what he was able to do with Florida anyway, I think he is a top 10 coach. And certainly if you surround him with more money and more avid recruiters, I think you're in a situation where he's in a position to win championships, which, by the way, he was in anyway. Because in 2020, he was in a position to win a championship, even though he was not recruiting at the level of Nick Saban or Kirby Smart. So, and you saw with Urban Meyer what he's capable of as a play caller with elite talent. Oh my fucking God, my phone just died.
Huh?
Nate.
He's still there?
Well, nah, his phone died.
Okay. Well, I'm going to close out on the point.
Okay.
Dan Mullen's not a top 10 coach.
No.
He's just not.
But do you not agree with what
I
he was saying?
I definitely
as far
get
as-
his points. I definitely get his points, and I think Dan Mullen give Dan Mullen Ohio State and watch what he does with it. I mean, it'd be unreal.
Agreed.
So but that's the thing. You got to factor in all these things. You got to factor in connecting with the players, buy-in, development, recruiting, scheme, all that. I mean, on the field coaching. That's the problem. He would be an amazing. He would be a top 3 offensive coordinator for any college program in the country.
Yeah, easy.
But head coach, no. The head coach, no.
You know, though, it makes me think. You fire Todd Grantham and you bring in Derek Mason, bro. What?
Or Will Muschamp.
Or Will? Oh, Nate, you're back out, Nate, and then try to join again. It's really scratchy.
Yep.
You sound like a little robot.
Grab my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
But dude,
I mean,
agree completely.
So, yeah.
You give him a Derek Mason, and then I think now we're talking. You give them Derek Mason, and they're beating Alabama. In that close game, I think they beat Alabama.
Yeah, and the thing with Dan Mullen is whenever he gave a shit about Florida, he did well.
Yeah.
Every single waking minute, other than the recruiting. Other than the recruiting and the coaching decisions, not firing the coaches. Other than that, Dan Mullen did great. So
I agree. Yeah, Nature and TB both. He should have stayed at Mississippi State. Mullen had it made at Mississippi State. I mean, I get that. He was winning enough games to be the great coach there. He, never expected to win the SEC West. But I think in his mind, when he came to Georgia, he didn't expect Kirby to go full what he did.
yeah.
That's kind of my thought is.
By the way, is my mic working?
What now?
My mic, is it working now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, Nate, you're good.
Okay.
Y'all, Ohio State head coach Ron Day donated $1 million to help fund mental health research at Ohio State.
Good for him.
Also known as Tiger Baskins PayPal.
Bro, I think that's awesome.
That man Nate said, good for him. Moving on.
Yeah.
But that's a coach you want to play for, bro.
Well, yes and no. Yes, he's a nice person, but he's a real good recruiter, though. But he's coaching on the wrong team, though.
Nate, he just
No,
dropped $1 million to Tiger Baskins PayPal. I think he's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I am therapeutic with it, bro. But I do have to ask, Nate, how many times has Michigan beat Ohio State in the last 4 years?
One. No, actually, wait. Yeah, one.
Oh, okay. Well, don't hate on them too much, bro.
Why?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I hate the team, but I don't. I mean, I would say I hate the fan base. I hate the team, but I don't hate the head coach. I mean, he's a respectable head coach because he's one of the best. No, I'm being unbiased right now. So,
Well, Nate, just like you said, you hate Ryan Day and you hate Ohio State. I hate Georgia too, but they're just better.
well,
And it's, it is what it is. Maybe one day it'll flip and change. We can all hope, right? Can't we, Nate?
like Lou said, like I don't know how many months ago, but he said, best teams can't stay best forever.
Okay. I ain't mad at you.
Facts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not mad at you, bro. Anybody in here mad at Nate?
Well, maybe Ohio State fans, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they are. I agree.
But
Well, with that being said,
good.
I kind of want to wrap it up, guys.
All
Well, I
right.
was gonna trash talk Miss Pete, but it's right.
You gonna trash talk Miss Pete?
Yeah, because she said Harvard hasn't won anything.
I mean, besides against Ohio State.
Well, yeah, so he hasn't won a national title, but now I'll say this: Michigan has the latest win than Clemson does against Ohio State, and that's facts. Because was the last time has Clemson beat Ohio State? Was it like 2019 or something like that?
Okay.
That's my.
Somebody want to interpret to me what Nate just said?
I don't
No clue.
know. But the real TP says in the comments, Ryan Day and Lincoln Riley, very similar, were handed a talented team when they got in there.
I said
That's very true.
I said that Michigan has a latest win than against Ohio State than Clemson.
Oh,
As I said.
shots fired. Shots fired.
What do y'all think?
It's a good statistic.
Okay.
I guess that's all I can say about that.
Alan, what do you have to say?
Oh, go ahead, Alan.
Team Rush cheated.
Alan, you've said like 8 words on this show.
I know, right? Very productive.
It's okay.
Breaking records,
We appreciate it though.
You breaking records?
TV, before we go, are we? When are we gonna play Wars or something like that? Like a multiplayer stream.
We need to play. You know what we need to do, Nate? This weekend, one day, we need to set a time aside where me and you play that Ninja Turtle game.
What about fishing, too? I don't know if he has it.
I don't think he has it yet, but yes.
Yeah, y'all let me know. I mean, y'all just let me know what time y'all want to do it, and I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Well, that's my question for you, TV. But I just want to get back to Fortnite or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever that we can all play with. But all multiplayer aside, I love the streams though.
I mean,
you said you love the what? What do you say? He loved the what?
you like the huh?
The gaming streams that the.
Oh, got you. Thank you, Percy. Will you show me your face real quick? Cause I know it's you.
PRC.
I'll back out.
All right, bring Percy back in. His phone just died, everybody. You know, this is Percy, not dead phone. Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
Yes. Percy Harvin. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, Percy, go ahead, sir. I'm gonna let you have the floor before I shut down the stream.
Yeah, mate. Last thing I was saying, Dan Mullen. Yeah, I think he's a top 10 coach in the country. I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you could say otherwise. I mean,
Well, so whenever you when your phone died,
Sure.
I was talking about just the entirety, what makes a top head coach, like a head coach just in general. And I brought up, communication with players, recruiting, on the field coaching, blah, blah, development, all that kind of stuff. I don't think you can be that bad in recruiting and be considered a top 10 coach. But I mean, and the point I also made was you could put him at Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator, and they'd have the best offense in the country. But I think, and also that goes into that is staff decisions. The staff decisions were horrible. And like you even said, he wouldn't fire Todd Grantham, and he might still actually have a job if he did. So that's another factor in there. I mean, as a head coach, you have to be able to know when to say, this guy's got to go. And then
Are you saying you got to know when to hold him, and you got to know when to fold him?
Yeah, last point. And then you also said how shit, I didn't forgot now. Yeah, the loyalty thing. Yeah, the loyalty thing, like how he's loyal to players. We saw it last year where he wouldn't play Anthony Richardson because Emory Jones had seniority. So, and same goes for the head coaches that he wouldn't fire. So I think those individual traits, I just couldn't say he's a top 10 coach. But that's not taking anything away from him and what he did at Florida. I'm just saying those are just things that you got to look at.
So I think when you look at like what makes a championship coach, yes, all of these things are certainly relevant. But what makes a top 10 coach is not what makes a championship coach. And when he was at Florida, he was regularly in the top 10. So I think he had loyalty problems with a lot of players, a lot of people on the staff, but ultimately we were regularly in the top 10. And it's not that there was...
Uh-oh. You're muted. I hope your phone didn't die again.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he definitely had his flaws. It cost him his job. It cost him probably the playoffs. But ultimately, I do think he's a top 10 coach because I think if you put him at, I don't know, if you put him at USC like Lincoln Riley, or you put him at Texas like Sarkisian, is he not winning 10 games like easily? Like if you take him out of the SEC and you put him in another conference where perhaps there isn't as much competition, is he not actively winning 10 plus games regularly?
Yes, and I will tell you 100% absolutely. I will also tell you that he should have been at a smaller school. And this is kind of another McElwain thing, and I'm going to be PG here, but he's a sissy. So
I did not like McElwain in the slightest.
Well, no. Well, I mean, in this regard. So, like, whenever the media got hot on him last year and stuff was going bad, he just cowered down. And the press conferences were horrible. He was having attitudes with the beat writers and everybody.
It goes back to what I said. He's got an ego, and so when he goes into a press conference, and the people in the press conference are asking him about why is your recruiting not this, or why are you starting Emory Jones, or whatever, he has an ego about him, and so the truth is, he's not recruiting at the same level as Nick Saban and Kirby Smart because the truth is he doesn't necessarily think he has to.
That's true. That is true.
He's incredibly good at the X's and O's, and so he thought, well, if I recruit in the top 15, I can get the most out of my players, and I can compete with these types of teams. And the truth was, ultimately, he couldn't outside of one season.
Exactly.
I think that could have been remedied by support from the athletic director. I think a lot of the problem at Florida, and not just for Dan Mullen, but for Billy Napier and who everyone that's come before him, is that there's absolutely no job security. Like, and this isn't just Florida. This is everywhere in the country at the moment. There's no job security. So once you start to kind of lose the ship, it's really easy to lose it completely.
And the fan base will jump so quick, especially
They
at Florida.
absolutely will.
Now,
I mean, Florida fan
Georgia,
base is so spoiled. Sorry, I was about to go. I was about to go off.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
the Florida fan base is so spoiled. Like, we act like we're supposed to be how we were in 06 and 08 through that period. I mean, the truth is, other than Dan Mullen the era of that, we're just not a good program.
No. If you go before the 90s, it's pretty grim.
And it's even worse, yeah. So, but that's the problem with the fan base, is just they have an arrogance to them. They think that we're just supposed to be at a higher standard, and I'm guilty of it too. Because what, like you just said about the recruiting earlier, like I'm trying to be up top. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sit here and be middle of the pack like Tennessee or something. So
yeah, I mean, look, I told
way.
I told my friend earlier, I don't think I would be satisfied with this bump class if it wasn't in the top 7.
I agree, and that's what a lot of people said during the offseason. Like it needs to be top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and the point I've been making to people is that, first off, what I'm going to say is Dan Mullen would have been horrible under the NIL. I'm going to make that point. And then I'm also going to say that the NIL has affected how this class would have turned out, because I think Billy Napier as a recruiter, without the NIL, we would have that top 5. So, because first year and everything. I mean, it's not only is his first year at a Power 5 job, but it's his first year really dealing with NIL. So, but yeah, so I mean, there's a lot riding on that, but I agree. I mean, I was looking forward to a top 5 class this year, or I was hoping for it at least.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what do you think about moving forward? Do you think that there are top 5 classes in our midst, or because I actually think in terms of NIL, Florida's been incredibly competitive. I mean, we offered Rashada more money than Miami, and he still chose Miami.
Well, that is a myth that's not been proven. But what I will say is the recruiting's been a lot better than it has been in the past years. Another thing I'll say is Miami has gotten in the way of a lot of what we're trying to do. And so I think a part of Mario Cristobal's recruiting tactic is to troll Florida. And by that, I mean players that are considering Florida and Miami, they're going on Instagram and they're tweeting. I say tweeting. They're posting like stories of them with Gator gear on and stuff, and then they commit to Miami a week later.
Yeah.
I think that's a part of it, and they're building momentum off that. I know that's kind of a little bit weird to say and a little bit of a hot take, but I think that's what is actually happening, because I see it happening all the time.
No, I mean, I do too. I also think in general, outside of the vacuum of Florida football and Miami football, it's becoming more trolly in general. Like kids are getting more creative with how they commit to schools than they have historically. Like you'll see a lot of kids, go to grab a hat and then they'll throw it away, and then they'll grab another and then they'll put it on and they'll throw it away and then they'll put another hat on. That's just shit you didn't really see 10 years ago. So I think the climate overall is changing, and we're kind of getting caught in the crosshairs of that. As clearly Mario Cristobal is perhaps capitalizing on that.
Absolutely. And you know what that is? It's just social media. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It just clicks.
I want to speak on that, though. I want to speak on from my perspective of Florida. Georgia can lock down the state of Georgia because we only have to compete with Georgia Tech. Florida, as much as you can say, we want to lock down the state of Florida, Florida State might not be good right now, but it's only a matter of time. Miami, it is that time. You're having to compete with not just one other good school, but 2 amazing brands, Florida State, and Miami. all three have great brands when it comes to college football. So Florida, you're not going to win relying on keeping all the in-state talent because not
No,
just Florida State and Miami are going after that. Georgia and
Mhm.
Alabama are coaching as well.
I will say there are two things I'd like to say here. Number one, I think Texas is a good example of a state with a lot of talent that makes it to where Texas and Texas A&M can both finish with a top 5 class. That's possible.
Yeah.
And it's also possible in the state of Florida. There is more than enough talent. I will say,
Money.
yeah, right, yeah. So
Yep.
far in Georgia's class, they've got 6 recruits out of the state of Georgia, 5 recruits out of the state of Florida. So I do think that in the next couple of years, there is a job that Miami, Florida State have at keeping this talent in state. Because you do have a lot of like Clemson and Alabama and Georgia coming in and taking a lot of it, but there is still such an immense amount of talent. Florida could still easily finish in the top 7.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Now, and how that would happen is you got to rely a little bit on flipping people. And it's totally possible. Just my whole argument, though, is that you don't want to rely on that right now. There's just not a lot of top talent left. I was looking the other day. The quarterback commit we have, right? Marcus Stokes.
Right, yeah.
I was looking the other day. There's only 3 quarterbacks in the top 1,000 players that are still even available.
Damn.
And that's usually not the case. I mean, usually they'll at least wait till early signing day to commit or something. But it's just moving a lot quicker now with the NIL and them signing stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible.
Let me ask you this: do you think that it's possible that, in terms of Billy Napier's ability to capitalize on the 2023 class, do you think any of it is that he's kind of newer at Florida, and so he hasn't had as much time to establish rapport with the 2023 class like a Kirby Smart has or a Dabo Swinney?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's still learning Florida culture probably. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, he's going to need time. Now, I mean, the reason we're talking, me and you are sitting here talking about wanting that top 7 class, I mean, it's the bump class. He had a little bit of time to recruit last year and didn't do horrible, but we were kind of looking forward to this year a lot. But, it's tough because, like you said, I mean, it's kind of just being thrown in the fire, especially, like I said, not being a head coach at the Group of 5 level. But so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to take time. And people, like we talked, I mean, the fan base is just going to jump ship when stuff goes bad, and then when stuff goes great, they're going to start bragging. So it's just all a part of it.
Right. So I guess what's your expectation for this season? I know mine isn't. I told my best friend my expectation for this season is actually not in the on-field product as much as it is the recruiting class for the next season.
Mm-hmm.
I think my eyes are more focused on the 2023 class than it is how the 2022 season actually goes.
So what I'm going to say about that, when you're looking at the future of the recruiting and you want it to get better, right? Let's say we finish 12 to 15 this class. And you say, okay, well, from that point, the first thing you would think is, okay, well, let's have a really good year this year, and then recruits will notice. Well, Florida's always had a really easy schedule, and this year it's just not at all.
We
pull Utah, we pull A&M, and then their usuals, Georgia, Tennessee is better than they were, LSU. I mean, so it's a hard schedule. So that makes it a little bit hard to make that argument. So, recruiters recruit. No matter how this season goes, it's his first year, so it's a pass for me. I do think it has to be above 6-6. I say that, but yeah, I mean, so my projections are 7-5 or 8-4.
Yeah, I think I have a set about 8-4. I think the best case scenario is 9-3. and I think that's things going really right. If the floor really falls out from underneath, I think it's 6-6. I think 6-6 would be really disappointing. I guess it depends on how he recruits. I mean, if he goes 6-6 and he pulls in a top, 6 class, all right. But if he goes, 6-6 and finishes 11th, perhaps I'm a little less intrigued. But I don't have very high expectations for this season whatsoever. My eyes are completely on the recruiting. As a recruiting coach, I expect him to recruit. And Dan Mullen was a coach on the field, and so I expected him to coach on the field, and he did. He won 10 games in his first season.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll say, 8-4 would be a good year this year with the schedule we have. 8-4 would be amazing.
I mean, there are a lot of projections that have Utah as a top 4 team. So beating, I actually think it's possible that Utah game gets a little out of hand in favor of Utah.
Do you really?
I do. Look, I understand that it's at the Swamp, and that's kind of like iconic in the SEC, and it should be. But I think Utah's a really well-coached team. I think they've got a lot returning, and I just think it's possible that game gets a little out of hand early, perhaps.
Well, I actually kind of agree with you on the early part. And like we talked about, my biggest thing is the humidity for Utah. So I think Utah, way better team. They're established. First year head coach and scheme for Florida being implemented. So I think Utah could take advantage of it very early. My thing is when the third and fourth quarter run around and Utah's out of breath and tired and Florida can just run up the middle of every play and score. I don't know. It just really depends. It's a tough game to kind of predict just because of the circumstances.
I don't think Florida, right. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to just run up the middle and score, but I think the later the game goes that it's close, the more it benefits us, obviously.
Yes.
So if the game is still close in the fourth quarter, that benefits us heavily. But ultimately, if you're Utah, I know it's a tricky game because it's the first game of the season and it's at Florida. So if you're a Utah fan, you really don't like this at all, especially in a season where you're supposed to be a playoff contender. You're probably pretty pissed that you have to play this game.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think they should win it. They should win it. And if they don't, it's probably because Billy Napier coaches a pretty good game and we're pretty disciplined.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Utah's favorite in the game, so I get it. Yeah. It's literally a 50-50 for me. I wouldn't be surprised either way it goes. To be honest, when I watch this game, the only thing I want to see is improvements from last year. That's the only thing I care about.
Yeah, discipline is a huge thing for me. I mean,
O-line penalties.
Oh my fucking God. Yeah. Ultimately, just all around discipline. My God, so fucking undisciplined last year. So
it was bad, man.
Louisiana was actually a pretty disciplined team under Billy Napier in his final year. So I'm hoping that this becomes a relic of the past. In his second or third year, but I'm not too sure about the first game of the first year.
Yeah, I agree. Now, TB, me and Percy could probably do this all night. So if we're holding you up, let us know.
No, I wanted to say this. Nature Boy brings up a good point. He said, this is a great game for a playoff contender in Utah. They win this, and they're the talk of the week because the only other big game is Georgia and Oregon, which Georgia should win that easily. And then
they will.
Ohio State and Notre Dame. So
and the same in the opposite for Florida, it's momentum going into the first year of the season, and then you got Kentucky the next week and just keep it rolling. So
Yeah.
it's important for both, but for Utah, as far as like playoff implications, yeah, it's definitely more important.
So with Florida, it's tough because if you win this game, man, you've got a lot of momentum going into Kentucky and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose this game, on the other side of the coin, Utah has got a ton of momentum, knocking out one of the hardest games of the schedule, going into a Pac-12 schedule. So, yeah, it is ultimately it is a bigger game for Utah than it is for Florida, and I'm hoping that pressure mounts on them.
Yeah, and I brought that up earlier. Utah lost 3 games last year, but they lost, I think it was 2 of them when Cam Rising wasn't the quarterback.
Right.
So, and it's not like he throws the ball all over the field or everything, but just the offense plays better when he's in it.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's all I was going to say. Is just I see Utah coming into this game thinking this is the only game that they could lose in the first couple of games, and if they can win this, it'll help create momentum for their team. But at the same time, Billy Napier is looking at it as, dude, if I can win this game, man, that helps me out so much. I know there's not a lot of pressure on me because it's the first game of the season of my first year here, but let him mess around and go into that game and win. Watch y'all get even more recruits for that upcoming year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up.
Let's be honest, though. It's not like Whittingham and Utah are synonymous with winning games they should win. So, I think I really think he's right, actually. I think the game is a 50-50 coin flip because you're at the Swamp and it's actually probably a sellout. It's probably a ridiculous atmosphere. The players are incredibly charged up because they want to prove themselves to this new head coach. They're fighting for playing time. I could legitimately see a scenario in which Florida actually win this game. But like I said, the pressure really is all on Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. And like we said, I mean, not only is it crowd, but it's humidity. And so if this game starts out as like a defensive battle and the offenses can't get anything going, I'm happy. I think Florida.
How do you feel about Patrick Toney?
I like Patrick Toney from what I know about him.
Right.
And I don't know too much, but
he improved Louisiana's defense while he was there, and I guess that's all you can ask for.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking for a little bit better recruiting. You know who I don't like, Percy?
Sure, go ahead.
So far, Jay Bateman.
Okay.
Who?
The linebacker coach.
Gotcha.
Is that just recruiting?
It's just recruiting, yeah. I mean, I've said this, but if he comes out and the linebackers are playing amazing, and I mean, I'm not gonna bitch about it, but the amount of whiffs we've had on linebacker this year is just cringeworthy.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. When early on, like when we first hired Billy Napier, and I kind of was doing my preliminary research, I was like, all right, this guy's a fucking recruiter. This is fantastic. This is the very thing we were lacking in Dan Mullen, and this guy's going to bring in top 5 classes. We're going to be in the same talent composite as Georgia and Alabama. And then he started hiring his staff, and I was like, he's hiring his staff to recruit. That is clearly what he wants out of this staff. He wants the best players available. Mm-hmm. And then in early July, well, first of all, on National Signing Day of last year, you kind of started to be like, But this year, I kind of started to fall off on the recruiting a little bit. I was kind of like, man, this is really disappointing. And to be honest, like after firing Dan Mullen, and whom, to be honest, I personally didn't think we should have fired, and I understand the argument that we should have. I just personally don't think we should have. But I kind of tuned out of recruiting a little bit, and I only started tuning in recently when we started surging again. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? I thought we were fucking shit at recruiting under Billy Napier. Now all of a sudden we've hit 4 recruits in a row. Dijon Johnson is incoming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's likely that we'll be in the top 10 here pretty soon. So,
Yes.
yeah. To be honest, though, I've not noticed the linebacker shortage, but I believe you.
Yeah, and then we have this is like a conspiracy thing, right? So Jay Bateman comes in, and we have more transfers at one position than almost the whole damn team. 3 linebackers transferred out: Chris Bogle, Diabate, and what's his name at Tyron Hopper.
Right.
3 linebackers that heavily contributed to the team transferred out. So that's why this team is so.
I was really disappointed when Hopper left.
I was too, because you saw that UCF game, right? I mean, he was everywhere.
Oh my God, yeah, fucking ridiculous.
Everywhere. Yeah. So, I mean, you ask yourself why. Like, why'd they leave? I mean, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me feel like it's the coach, but I don't know. Tyron Hopper.
I mean,
of course,
it's such an easy scapegoat for somebody that has so little information. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the easy on paper answer is that it's the fucking coach. Yeah, I don't know, mate.
I can think of. I mean, for 3 linebackers to transfer out.
Yeah.
Key players. I don't know.
You know, I will say. You know, early on, as he was assembling the staff, I was like, you know, what's funny is that this guy's like a fucking wide receiver coach. But I think our defense might unironically be the best part of the team.
Who are we talking about?
I'll say this. It's going to be way better than people think.
I think it might unironically be really fucking good.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take it, especially when you think about the fact that defense is so effort based, and Billy Napier is so fucking hard pressed on making sure his players give the most effort. And I also really like our fucking defensive staff. Obviously, you start with Corey Raymond, who's ridiculous. The guy's a legend. Coach Chaos, obviously. I think Patrick Toney is actually going to be pretty good. I actually really like our defense. I kind of like our defense this season more than I like the offense. Despite the fact that this is an offensive coach.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that just because of the certain positions on offense. Now, if Anthony Richardson turns into a serious deal, like, then that changes. But I know
that's always a possibility.
I could see the defense being good, but I mean the linebacker play, there's no depth there. So I mean that's a problem for me. But I mean, and the defensive line has a little bit of depth issues. There's talent there, but no experience. So I don't know. I think with what we have, will be a good defense. I don't think it'll be like on a grand scale really good, but I think with what we have, it'll be.
Well, I mean, look, within. Do you think our defense will rank within the top 25 by the end of the season?
I'm going to say no, but I'm only going to say no because of the schedule we play and the depth issues.
All right.
I think it might be right outside of it, though.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Yeah.
Well, TB, what do you think, TB?
I'm enjoying it, man. I'm just glad that Fish finally got somebody to talk Florida football with, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I
like,
said,
I
I mean, if
know-
you want to end this at any time, you're more than welcome to. But I mean, you know
We'll-
me,
we'll
dude.
wrap
I
I
mean,
mean, we could go all night.
yeah.
I want Percy to let him finish. So I want to let him say what you need to say, Percy, or say what you want to say before I let you go. How about that? That way you can kind of, tell everybody about you and what
and
you
where are
do.
you from, Percy? You know that was coming.
Right. Originally from Orlando. I, I've been, I've been told I sound more American sometimes. But my parents are originally from Perth, which is like Western Australia. But yeah, I'm originally from Orlando. I grew up in Orlando. I went to high school at Lake Mary. So all of my friends were Florida fans and Florida State fans, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I have to say. I mean, I think that this season is going to be, an implementary season for Billy Napier. So it will be implementing his not only his philosophy but his expectation, his mentality. A lot of it will have to do with what he expects from the team, and I think it will be more than Dan Mullen. I think that he will be more demanding, which is ultimately good. I think that's a win. But I think it'll take more than a season to implement. So I'm not so sure that I think we're going to win 11 games this year. I think we'll be lucky to win 8 games, but ultimately I think we should be in good hands. Question mark. We should be all right. But yeah, I don't necessarily. I actually don't necessarily agree with the Dan Mullen firing, which, of course, I think we should have instead doubled down on Mullen. We should have, exceeded our recruiting budget, which now is in the top 5, but before was not. And I think we should have changed the defensive coordinator. I really value Dan Mullen as an offensive play caller and as a developer of talent. And I thought he was a known quantity. I don't know that Billy Napier is a known quantity. I think he's a gamble inherently, which is not necessarily a bad thing because Kirby Smart was also a gamble.
Exactly. Yep.
And he turned out to be pretty fucking good. So, look, with high risk comes high reward. So I'm willing to see what happens this season. My eyes are focused on the recruiting class, and I'm hoping we get a top 7 class.
Yep. I'm with you. I've got 3 questions before you go.
Sure.
And they can be quick.
Sure.
First off, what do you think about it, Anthony Richardson? In a nutshell.
To be honest, and not to sound like a Dan Mullen apologist, because I think he made a mistake in not prioritizing Anthony Richardson. But I do think if he had more time one-on-one with Mullen, he would have been better. I think Emory Jones soaked up the one-on-one time with Dan Mullen, and Anthony Richardson was kind of left out in the cold. And then during the Georgia game, he was randomly like, all right, you're going to fucking start. So I thought he was treated really dirty by the last regime. I think he's unbelievably talented. And I think he is our long-term solution here in the next 2 or 3 years. I really do think he's immensely talented.
Yeah. You said the next 2 or 3 years. He could be gone after next year.
Yeah, he could.
Right. So the other question I had, Team Raj or Team Fools?
It's a tough one, mate.
Do you know what that is?
I do, yeah.
Do you really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay then.
I gotta go Team Raj.
Yeah. I understand. I understand. And so that's interesting. So my last question was, do you know TB or do you know me, or like how did you get here?
Well, I watch some people on the YouTube. Uncle Lou is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I love Uncle Lou. I feel like he's almost a bit. Look, I really like Uncle Lou. I do, but perhaps he's a bit of a troll.
Oh yeah,
and
that's exactly what it is.
he's not always subjective. I kind of have a problem with his modality of thinking, but I actually watch like Pigskin Pete and other college football YouTubers. So I just found you guys by looking for college football live streams and call-in shows, and just a fan of the sport, looking for more togetherness, I suppose.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on. I definitely do. TB's probably sitting there about to fall asleep, but
no, dude, I'm happy. Like, look, fishing. I adopted fishing.
You don't ever get to see me talk like this, do you? I mean,
no, I adopted fishing 2 years ago, and I'm just happy for him. Happy for my adopted son to be able to talk Florida football. So, no, and I think another thing too. Percy, you still there? I think his phone died again.
Anyway.
Well, goddamn. I was trying to tell Percy about a show tomorrow night, man. Goddamn.
Well, that's fine. That just shit. He might listen back. Just go ahead and throw it in. Wrap it up. Let's go.
Percy, you said wrap it.
Wrap it. Definitely wrap it.
All right. So yeah, big dog. Great show tonight. It was a fun one. Definitely fun to talk some college football and just pop up. Tomorrow, guys, our show will consist of a lot more. Percy, if you come back in, let us know. But tomorrow will consist of some videos. We'll be able to show you guys some highlights. We're going to talk some Big Ten. I've been wanting to be able to show you guys some recruiting videos. Just show you some recruits, see what your opinion is. But yeah, just expect a lot of videos tomorrow. Expect a lot of segments, and
that's Saturday.
I think tomorrow's gonna be fun fishing.
That's Saturday.
That's what I said. Saturday.
You said tomorrow.
No, I ain't say tomorrow. I said Saturday night, bro.
You didn't say it? Okay.
Yeah. I said Saturday night, bro. At 10
I'll let you slide on that one.
Bro, wait. First, I had to rap. Now I can slide. All right.
Hey.
Yeah. But yeah, Saturday night, people.
I didn't even bring up to Pete that you picked FSU to beat them. So I'm letting I've been very nice.
Good. I'm glad you ain't saying nothing on stream.
I've been very nice because Pete would have had I don't know what Pete would have done. I don't know.
I would have liked to talk to him about that. I guess I talked to him Friday night. I guess I can tell you.
Hilarious. Because you would have been like, man, I didn't really feel that way. I don't really think that's going to happen.
No, I'd have kept it. I'd have been, look, dude, if Clemson don't get their crap together and Florida State turns it around, that'll be their loss, bro.
Yeah.
But, guys, if Fishing Football talks me into doing a game stream tonight, I'll do it. But I probably won't because I'm tired. I'm beat.
Now, if you do one, you already know I'll come in there, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm Chris Benoit beat. I'm OJ Simpson beat. Okay, I'll stop. Look, all right, people. We out. Boy TB, your boy Fishing once again with another How You Mama and Them show. So
hey,
yeah, I hope your internet gets to feeling better, Mrs. Pete. Fishing, what you got to hit us with?
If you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. hit the like button. You can also check out Fishing Football. And you can also have a great day. And we appreciate you watching too.
Yes, definitely check out Fishing Football. You need to put your link in the comment section before we go. That's what you need to do. We'll give him some time, guys. We'll give him while we're giving him time real quick, everybody, let's just meditate. Let's do what Pigskin Pete wanted Michael Hogue to do. Let's breathe. Let's just
damn it, I can't do it on my computer.
Let's just
hold on. I'm about to do the flash with it. Hold on.
Well, okay, look, what do we do? All right, rock, paper, scissors, everybody. Comment in the comment section what you putting down last. All right, you ready? Rock, paper, scissors.
There we go.
There we go.
Shoot. And he scores. All right.
Did you do it? Oh, dude, done went and created another. Dang, bro. He
Bro.
created another one.
Look at this man.
That's crazy, bro. The fact that somebody would take that much time, though, to, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't know, to be honest.
It kind of makes me happy, though. I'm glad that we. Oh, they're talking about your link. They said yours was.
All right. So yeah, Nick. Yeah, bro.
Nick,
we appreciate you coming in. I definitely do. Come in more often, bro. Every night, Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, we go live. So
yeah, we do.
Come in again, bro. Especially during the season, because you and me gonna have some interesting conversations. I feel like so. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, we do our actual show on Saturdays. Today was just a pop up, talk about college football, make Bama fans mad type show. Like Saturday night, we'll have a lot of fun. But all right, I'm out, y'all. I'm gonna let Fishin say his last words, and then I'm ending everything.
I got no last words. I appreciate y'all watching.
Peace.
Time to go to bed, bro. Deuce.